Bob Ross was the man.
Bob Ross was a man. Happy little clouds, baby. Happy little clouds.
It was, kind of like my silky voice.
It was. I used to. My mom would tell you that I used to say Bob Ross was my friend. So I would go down and make it a point to go down and watch him in the mornings or whenever his show was on, and I would always tell
Saturday
my mom,
morning, bro.
I would always tell my mom, like, I'm watching my friend Bob Ross.
Saturday morning, bro.
Yeah. So
Saturday morning was the chill.
those are the days.
Yeah.
Did you watch the doc on Bob Ross's family?
Absolutely, I did, bro.
It made me not want to buy any Bob Ross things ever again.
I
though.
cried. Legitimately cried.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't like to disrespect Mr. Bob Ross, man. I've been knocking him down for the audience so that, this is what we're talking about here. I always knock him over with my drink or whatever it is I have on there. And so
Yeah.
both these old guys were kids at one point, and we watched it. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, dude.
Oh,
like, because
yeah.
the fucking heater I have, dude, and I use the F word, is that I'm stressed the fuck out, bro.
Okay. I like it. Bring it.
Right?
Bring it.
Let's
unleash the beast right now.
Unleash the beast.
Yeah.
But it's like a two-pronged thing, right? It's kind of like when we talked about the political climate last Random Thoughts.
Okay.
And we were like, dude, so fucked up, right? And the stress level that I have right now is probably the greatest amount of stress that I've ever had in my entire life. And that's saying a lot. You are privy to some of the things that happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is very much privy to the shit that's happened in my life. I've struggled with addiction and suicide and all these other stressful things, dude. And I'm not saying that I'm getting ready to jump off a bridge, you guys. Don't get it twisted, right? I'm just saying that the level of amount of stress that I've carried on my shoulders from the last, I want to say since the beginning of the year, bro. It's been wild.
Yeah.
And so this Random Thoughts, I wanted to vomit that.
Okay.
But then I also really wanted to not just vomit it and use it as a therapy session. I really wanted to hopefully talk to people about maybe share some of the things that you do to manage your stress.
Okay.
And some of the things that I'm doing to try to manage my level of stress right now.
Okay.
Because I think stress is very relative to it's relative to the individual, right? If somebody can handle a bunch of shit, dude, they're just stressed differently.
Well, yeah, I huge difference is, my wife gets anxious about everything. She stresses about everything. Where I honestly, it takes me a lot to get stressed out, or at least show that I'm stressed out, because I'm pretty level headed when it comes to trying to organize things, maintain what I'm doing at any given point in time, and
I would agree with that.
Compartmentalize, okay, X needs to be done now, but Y can be done later. And it's frustrating for her because she sees that and sometimes is like, I don't get it. Why are you not stressed more about this?
I would agree with Des on this one, dude. And it's very rare that I agree with her in these kind of things, right? Where it's like,
and what sucks is it starts fights sometimes. And she's like, because she gets to that point where she is like, I don't get it. I don't understand how you're not stressed about this.
Yeah.
This is huge for us. Like, why are you not I don't know. I just process that way, way different.
Yeah.
When
or you don't process it at all?
No, I definitely process it, but I guess in my head, I look at it as, okay, what can be controlled at this point in time? What needs to be controlled 2 weeks down the road? What needs to be controlled and maintained a year from now, 5 years from now, right? And I think that's kind of the biggest thing now is always trying to navigate that, because she definitely gets stressed out a lot more. And I think it has a lot to do with job also, right? With her working in the hospital, she's always on stress.
When you say code red, it means you got to go do
stuff. Yeah, 100%. So it's one of those things where she is always stressed out, never has a good opportunity to just decompress. Whereas me, I get stressed in a sense that on the weekends when it's event weekend, it's different, right? Where I come into the office and I have a laundry list of things to do,
Mm,
but it's that laundry list that I'm like, okay, these are my top 10 or these are my top 5 that need to get done today.
mm,
The other ones can be done later on this week as long as they're done by a certain point. So I think my job has also helped me like direct how to get stressed about things. Right. And that goes for anything. It goes financially, everything. I think I look at things a lot differently when it comes to that. And that goes between you and I too.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I can see you get stressed about X, Y, and Z, but
right.
you owning a gym and dealing with 200 members on a daily basis, whereas I deal with maybe 400 people on one day perspective on a given weekend. So it's,
That's
yeah.
that leads me to what is why. So we talked about the political climate last random thoughts. I
Mhm.
brought that up already, but um, it's really hard. I I want to be very careful because I know that people in my audience see me daily, and this statement can definitely come back to bite me in the ass.
Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
so I'm
All
going to
right.
say this very
Go
carefully
for it.
and make sure that the intention of what I'm trying to say gets received. I didn't realize how hard it is to genuinely love the people around you, and I'm the guy who wants to love everybody,
Uh-huh. Yep.
and it's so hard to the point of tears, bro. And so when I say that, and I'm not pointing out anybody. So if you're listening and you are a member of OTH, know that I'm not talking about you, but I am talking in regards to personalities,
Uh,
right? And
okay.
so managing those things is huge,
Well, yes.
right?
Yeah.
It is like, dude, if running a gym and my life right now personally and everything that you know, like I got my grandson in the house again, I got my son in the house again, like I have my grandson at least 2 or 3 times a day, like and trying to now manage how I move and navigate. Those are all personal things. Like I can do that. That's good.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I can manage that little 4-year-old's freaking popping off attitude and all that other stuff. Like I can do that. I'm good with that. But managing that on top of all the, like you said, laundry list of shit that I got to get done as
Yeah.
an entrepreneur, we all do.
Mhm.
I'm not unique. Nobody's unique to that.
Yep.
I'm not the only grandpa, right? That
Mhm.
has a grandson that lives in his house, right?
Yep.
Uh, I'm not the only gym owner, but managing that component with the different personalities that I have to contend with every day has been exhausting. And when I say that, I have this uncanny ability, Jeff, to look at somebody and go, that part of that person, no likey. I can still love that person though.
Mhm.
I can legitimately still be around them, encourage them, lift them up, find a way to impact them in a positive way, despite the things that I don't like about them. That's like my superpower, if you really want
Yeah.
to think about it.
Okay.
Because I look beyond it. To me, they have this little thing that most people don't like about them, or maybe personally, just I just don't like about them. I don't even see that. That's easy for me to do if I'm by myself and I'm doing it. But now I have this huge team that I've been blessed with to grow,
Mhm.
and now I have to show those people the one thing that has been very hard for me to learn how to do that, or even if they want to do that,
Yeah.
right? And so from a brand perspective and from a stress level perspective, like if it was just me, no big deal. Easy peasy. Not a problem. But now it's like, no, I can't.
Mhm.
And it's to the point where when it bleeds into other things that I have to do as a husband, as a father, as a grandfather, like the patience, for me, I can compartmentalize and look at things, and and go, okay, cool. I have a laundry list of things to do. But unlike you, dude, when I have my laundry list, because my ADHD takes over, it just goes, and it's just one big giant fucking humongous list,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And for me, uh, that list, I got to do better of like separating them. I'm learning that as an entrepreneur, right?
Well, that's it's a huge thing. I think for any entrepreneur to try and navigate your personal stress to-do
Mhm,
list and your business to-do stress lists
mhm,
is a huge undertaking for any business owner and
mhm,
trying to figure out where that goes. I I think it's and that's kind of what I've learned. Like over the years, it's like, okay, I can't bring home work stress
mm,
a lot of times. I've learned that because it used to affect Des and I's relationship so much that we almost got a divorce over it
mhm,
because my work stress bled over
yeah,
into the personal. I had no personal stress at that point in time. Like we were, we had a great apartment we were living in at the time.
mhm,
We had, you know, really great friend circles. We had everything. Like everything was like it was moving along pretty smooth. But the fact that my work stress was so dire
yeah,
that it bled over so much that Des looked at me. She's like, if I wouldn't have turned it around, she'll tell this story all the time. And she probably has told the story on the podcast, but that was that time. And she almost looked at me. She's like, we're done.
I don't want anything to do
I
with
don't
you.
want to, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want anything to do with what's going on with your life, whatever. And now like, and I think from that moment, I learned that, uh, I try not to bring my work stress home.
Mm,
And that's a little tough because I work here by myself for the most part. Like I,
yeah,
there's periodic, people that come in and help in the office and stuff, and I can chat at that point in time. But I still look at it as okay. I get home. If I've had the shittiest day, I'm not gonna
mhm,
lean into Des for an hour and a half on X, Y, and Z happened. I can't believe da 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 da.
mhm,
I think it's one of those things where I'm just like, okay, yeah, I had a pretty shitty day. Here's what happened. Leave it be. I'm working on it and go from there.
mm,
And like then try and shift it into the personal. I've learned that that has helped me out over the years to be like, okay, I need to completely separate this
mm,
because if I'm having some personal stress
mm,
and I go to a race and and my runners can see it on my face, it doesn't make it a fun experience for them, right? It doesn't. I treat them a little bit differently because I'm stressed in a family or personal way. So I've also looked at it as customer service wise, people want to come in and have a good time at an event like mine. So if I let it carry over, I have to like I've learned how to shut it off and just be like, okay, I'll deal with it in the next four after the 4 hours are over with here. I'll figure it out at that point in time. Same thing with the business. That's how I've kind of looked at it. You asked me how I kind of deal with
yeah,
some of this. That's how I've learned how to deal with it is and it's got to be tough for you in a sense because you have your grandson at the gym. Sometimes you have to bring him into the gym because that's you have to be there, and so some of that kind of bleeds in a little bit here and there, but
the separation of church and state in my life is
it's
very
got to be tough. Yeah,
uh,
I get
difficult
that.
or non-existent,
Yeah.
and I would even say it's non-existent, right? Even to the point where Suzette's now working in the gym from 5 a.m. to 7 every day,
Yeah.
right, Monday through Thursday, right, and my son's starting to do things for me because he's home now,
Hmm.
right, and so I can't, I it's and I hate hurting people's feelings, like it bugs me, like it just does, like it
Yeah.
just like I don't. I recently had to do some stuff where it wasn't that asked me for a favor, and I don't want to tell. I'm not going to say what it is, but um, and it wasn't like bad. I just was asked to serve documents, and I knew what those documents meant, and I knew that they were going to hurt the person receiving them. And I was like, man, this sucks. I had to pull over after doing it, like just like just okay. It was
Yeah.
just sad, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not that guy, man. And so because I used to be so angry before, and I realized how much anger creates so much pain, I didn't want I hate doing it to anybody that way. That's what make like even Bliss and you seeing like I'm definitely a people pleaser in a lot of ways, right? And it's not that I'm trying to please them. I just don't want to create discomfort in them, right? And so,
Yeah.
but in the act of doing that, it creates a whole lot of discomfort in me right now with the volume of people that I have to do it with. And that's the stress for me. And yes, just learning how to separate church and state, learning that I'm having a conversation with Suzette, not Suzette the employee.
The
Suzette,
individual versus the
yeah,
employee.
yeah, yeah.
Right,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not my son, who's my son, not the person that's doing work for me right now. Hey, I need you to do this.
Right.
And now it's like to genuinely create a true connection with those people that I love most,
Mhm.
right? And which is extremely stressful. And so you're right, our environments are way different. Like you deal with 400, 500, 600 people in one weekend over a 2-day period. I'm doing that. I'm doing 200 every day
Right. On a monthly basis,
on a monthly basis.
you're dealing with
Yeah.
all your members at
Yeah.
any given point in time.
At any given point in time, right? And so, and not just the members. Now I have a staff that
Yeah.
is there all like every day.
Yeah.
That are looking at me, right? And so this whole, I think I shared it earlier on in the podcast. This whole thing where I told everybody it's our responsibility to sit back, every year, every few months or whatever. Excuse me. Kind of sit back and do some self evaluation, right? Take an inventory. What are the things that I don't like? What are the things I hate? What are the things, and then like change the things that you don't like or address them, take ownership of them,
Yeah.
and then move on, right? But as I did that this year, bro, I was like, holy shit, I gotta be a totally different person. The person that I was not trying to be when I left corporate America, now I have to be
Yep.
in my own business that I created, bro. You want to talk about resentment, bro? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I chose this life, right? And now, and I just have an amazing marketing team, Gym Accelerator, right? And they meet with me once a week, and we were talking about it. And he's like, what we do, he says, it's work on work on work on work. And he just kept going for this much reward.
Yeah. And
he goes, but this reward is so big.
Yeah.
If you break it down.
Right.
And I was like, and it was like, that was the first thing he said. And then the other thing that they said was on the call was like, there are no businesses that have no problems. The only business that doesn't have a problem is the closed business.
Yeah. I'm
like, So those two things from a perspective shift helped me tremendously.
I also think, and you're putting yourself in this position anyway, right? So that's the other thing you have to think about is you are deciding to bring X amount of coaches on as your staff. You are deciding to have your son come and help you out because you want to support him. You are deciding to have your grandson in the gym so you can be a part of his life and vice versa. You're also deciding to have, Suzette to come in and help out, do this and that. Right. So there's things that you also have to look at from that perspective and that stress level is, hey, I've been the one that's decided to do this. Right. So what's gonna help relieve a little bit of that stress because I've decided to do this. Like, so you have to look at it from that angle too. Like you, when I say you as a general thing, right? you as a business owner have made these decisions that have created a lot more stress, and you got to look at it as, okay, well, I've obviously wanted this. I've also needed this.
Yeah.
So what can I do to maybe compartmentalize this section right here?
Yeah.
Like, what's going to help relieve a little bit of the stress right here because I've made this decision to help family out and to help bring staff in to help me out in the long term,
Yeah.
right? So I think there's things that you have to, like, you talk about being reflective.
Mhm.
You have to sit back and look at it as, okay, let's talk about the staff.
Mm.
What's one thing
Yeah.
that's going to help relieve some of that? You don't need to solve all the problems at one time, right? That's
Right.
the other thing
Yeah.
to keep in mind
Yeah.
as a business owner is
Yeah.
what's one thing at a time
Yeah.
that you can look at and say, okay, this is going to make my life easier. And it may not make it super comfortable for the staff, or it might not be the easiest for the staff, but me as a business owner making sure that I can still support these people is going to help them out. And then just chip away at little things, right? That I think that, and that's what I've learned too is you just need to kind of look at things like, okay, there's little things that are going to help make my day to day easier, my year in the long term easier, and then the business as a whole easier.
I've come to that realization. I mean, you're an ambassador in the gym, right? And so you were there with our year end, our quarterly meeting, right? And that's kind of what the general theme was, right? I have no more, and everything's spooled off of there. So that's kind of kudos to Gym Accelerator for that as well. Like they come back and they're like, what is the biggest stressor as owner stressor that you have? Like they ask you all the other things, like what's your revenue
Mm.
and profit and loss and all this other shit. But it starts with the owner's stress,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Because you know it starts and ends with us. To your point, I made these decisions,
Yeah.
right? And so even though I get pissed at Suzette or I get pissed at, something that my staff member did or something that my member did, like chewing up one of my brand new benches, right? And those kind of things, right? Uh this is my responsibility. This is my boat. This is what I'm creating. This
Hmm.
is my decisions. And so it does help me from a stress level to kind of give back. And that's the one thing you and I have always done. I think we've always seen eye to eye. Like that's one of the things I've commented before in the podcast, dude. Like you taking ownership of something going wrong at your race.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I admire about you, right? And it's like no matter what, you're gonna take ownership, now, even if it wasn't your fault, dude.
Yeah.
It wasn't even your fault. You didn't even do it. You knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
It's my fucking fault.
Yeah.
Like, and so that's the same thing I do, right? It's like, yeah, I might be having a problem with this thing or this person or that person, but it's all my fault.
Mhm.
I did it. It's my decision.
Yeah.
Right. And so I get that concept. What I did not get, and I just learned right now, is that these are, I always say this is my responsibility, but it's my decision. Yes. I never thought about it from my decision. I have been looking at it since the beginning of the year, to be honest with you. That these are the things that I have to do. I have to. And I'm like, dude, for the one time in my life that I've now become a full on entrepreneur and a podcaster and all these things, right? I don't have to do shit.
No.
I don't have to do nothing, right?
No.
I don't have to do anything but balancing the desired outcome
Hmm.
with I have to is the struggle, is the tug of war.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing that I'm hoping to share. Like, that's why I was so heated. Like, I told you we were at the stairs. So I'm like, dude, I got a heater this time because I want to talk about this because
Yeah.
this is a big thing. And I know I'm not the only guy.
Yeah.
You said you have way more experience than I do in this environment because you've been in it longer, right?
Hmm.
We're trying to get we're trying to get other entrepreneurs and other people that are, onto the podcast. They also have a bunch of experiences that we might know nothing about.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it, and it, I'm referring to it as an entrepreneur stress in a lot of ways because as an entrepreneur, everything bleeds, especially if you created something that several people enjoy now,
Yeah.
right? Because now you're managing all of those things as well.
Right.
And so not so much like if you created a shoe or a brand new mic, right? Like getting that to market, getting those things, like those are all stressors, right? But because we're in the service-based industry, bro, that level of entrepreneurship and struggle is I think a lot different. And I'm not saying well was me. It's just I think it's a lot more challenging. So
Yeah. I I think I don't know. I guess one of the things that I try and keep in mind, and it is my mantra, is live victorious every day.
mm,
Is you always have to look at even there might be a ton of stuff coming down on the business or personal as far
mhm,
as stress levels. You always have to look at it as okay, what's been the good today?
mm,
What have I gotten done in the business? What problem have already solved that's already saved me a shitload of stress? And then what are some of the other good things that are happening?
mm,
Oh, I've made X amount of money. I brought in 3 new members today, or we saved money by not having to spend extra on marketing or whatever it is.
yeah,
Like, I think I in the long run, I've kinda learned that is I you can't always dwell on the stress of the business, the stress
the
of
next thing and the
the
next
next
thing.
thing and the
Yeah,
next thing and the next thing
yeah,
is like you have to look at it as a piece by piece thing. And again, it comes down to me being able to say, okay, well, I need to get these 5 things done today. I get those 5 things done. I'm like, hey, good, look at that. Successful.
Winning.
So again, it's like that's why I like live victorious every day is kind
Mm,
of like the thing I live by is
like
like
that.
I just you got to look at the good. You got to look at what has been done to take away some of that stress or what's been done that you were able to accomplish in the long run that's going to help out, right? And
Yeah,
it could be a mix of well, personal versus business, but there's always good that's happened in a day. And
yeah,
I've even it's even from a thing. It's like, oh well, bad health problems, right?
right.
Well, I was able to wake up today.
Yeah,
I got another day on Earth. I was able to get out of bed. I'm up upright. I'm on the right side of the ground.
yeah,
Right, and those are things even if it's the smallest things like that in your shitty day, it's like, "Listen, I'm living to fight another day, so let's figure it out from there." And it is interesting, and yes, you're right, like, trying to bring it's why it's always trying to bring other entrepreneurs on to hear their side of the story and what their stresses are versus what their success rates are. And because as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, it's you lean on some of those stories to be like, "Oh, that applies to me.
there's hope.
There is hope. I can do this." But
Yeah,
I think the big thing is me coming to you in this is you have to keep in mind, like I said already, is it's your decision to do this stuff. So there's got to be ways that you can maneuver this with, okay, let's get this done. I made this decision to bring on a new staff member. I made this decision to hire this marketing company. I made this decision to, help my grandson and my son out. Okay, how can I fix that? What's that?
that's huge. That is huge. Was it Chad? Chad said it, right? Stacking experience. Think about it from
Yep.
like stacking victories, right? I'm mixing the two now, right? So I'm mixing the two mantras together,
Yeah, there you
right?
go. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is real easy. That this is good, and so I wanted to take the moment and not kind of like draw it out down to like talking about all my problems because there's a bunch of them, right? We all have a bunch of things that we got to get done. But yeah, you know, I feel that this year has been a year, and for the people that are growing a business, and if it's just fitness or any service based business, in my experience or my 2 cents, uh, is we have this uncanny ability. Obviously, you want to grow it, right? And my business has definitely grown the last 6 months.
Mhm.
Since July, it's been tough. Like just constant growing pain, and figuring it out. And the things that I used to do to manage my stress are no longer available,
Oh, yeah.
you know? And so uh working out is the way I do things, but even that is hard sometimes, as you are aware,
Well, yeah.
And so those kind of things that learning how to pivot and coming up with a different mantra to kind of shift the perspective of the things that I got going on in my life. Um, Hoping that people can take my stress and development of something new, and especially in the service industry, and kind of apply that, right? And so sometimes bigger is not always better. I'm in the position right now where my previous business partner used to tell me, he goes, "What do you want, dude? You want a big business, or you want a life business?" So I'm in that stage right now
Mhm.
where it's like, big business, or do I just want a life business, you know? And so my idea of what I thought was going to happen when I decided to open up a gym is not what I'm seeing today. Right? And so
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so like if you think about that from an entrepreneur perspective, like your idea of creating an event production company, was that idea the same of what you're seeing today?
God, no.
God no, right? And
It's
you
gone through
laugh.
3
That's why
different
you laugh
generations.
so fucking hard,
It's gone
right?
through 3 different
You,
generations, if
you
not more,
yeah,
of
yeah.
where we are today
Yeah.
versus where we started,
And
and
so the flexibility of what the ability and the flexibility that we have as entrepreneurs allows us to do whatever we want whenever we want and say yes or no to whatever we want,
Mm.
right? But we're also so driven, and a lot of us are ADHD, that it's like this vision that I had doesn't look like I thought I was gonna have a gym. It's gonna be kind of cool. It's gonna be all like good equipment, and a lot of my friends just hanging around, just working out, just shooting the shit. People are gonna pay me to work out in my gym. Like this is gonna be it, right? Nah.
No. No.
You thought you were gonna buy a couple props, have these events coming in, and everyone's just gonna come up and sign up to do your events. No big deal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So so understanding and balancing the vision and adjusting the vision. That's the better way to talk about it, right? Adjusting that vision and that expectation of what you thought it was going to be, and then coming to the realization. That's what this year has been. The realization for me is like, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to look like. Holy shit. This is going to look like something entirely different.
To put it in football terms for people that wanna understand that, it's moving the goalposts. Sometimes you're gonna have to kick a 25-yard field goal,
Yeah.
and the other times you're gonna have to boot a 65-yard field goal. And right now, Omar's batting. He's kicking about a 50-yarder.
Yeah. And so like I love the mantras. I love because it does shift the perspective of how you see things, right?
Yeah.
And I think um in business and in leadership, I'm just going to say leadership because I know as an entrepreneur, I understand I have the flexibility to say yes or no, and I created a lot of the stress that I have today. The only person I really have to be pissed off about is self. Like I did this to like I did that. I did that. It's
I
like
did that.
like, my hands are shaking and I'm over caffeinated and I don't sleep like more than 5 hours a day. Then I did that.
Yeah.
But the perspective shift is a big key that I think that our audience and myself will get out of this podcast, hopefully. And then the other one is uh, to shift the vision of what it is. Like I think it's so important that we realize that you can still get what you're looking for or I can still get what I'm gonna speak it in I terms. I can still get what I'm looking for. It just doesn't look the same it is as I thought it was gonna be when I first started.
Yeah, I think there probably is a little misconception for new entrepreneurs, new business owners when
Mm,
they come into it of this is my product,
mm.
this is my service, this is what it's going to be. And then realizing 2, 3, 10 years down the road that it's like, oh, it actually wasn't this all along. It's actually this over here. And this is, and then having to pivot to see what that looks like and see how
Even if
that,
you like it, dude.
yeah, 100%. And it is. And that's, uh, fuck, man, I went through bankruptcy to get to the generation that I am in now for my business. And it's one of those things that you just don't really consider when you're starting up something is how that's going to shift, from a service or from a product perspective and what you're actually giving out to the public. And it's going to be there. So making the adjustments and understanding like, yeah, I made the decision to start this business up. Oh shit. Like now I should, it's either A, I'm making the decision to keep in this business that's not really doing very well, or I need to shift and now the next generation of this is and move forward with it. Right. So that's
And,
crazy.
and then I'll close it with this: as you're making these shifts, as I'm making these shifts, or as stress level kind of piles up on things, and having the perspective shift on all the things that I got to get done, it's getting to be to a point where like as entrepreneurs we sink our teeth into something we don't want to let go,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? So you talked about bankruptcy. You talking about letting that go. Like that was like, like I can't
Oh, I
even
had grip
fathom.
on that thing.
Like
Yeah.
like I can't like
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, and then letting it go so that you can get out of your own way.
Yeah.
And for me, that was really hard. Like, because I'm ADHD, I started following this guy. I won't quote his name because we have no affiliation to him. Maybe we'll get him on a podcast, but he coaches entrepreneurs that have ADHD, right? And he says that a lot. That as somebody who has ADHD or ADD and is an entrepreneur, one of the biggest struggles they have is like delegating, like getting out of their own, because your business is not going to grow as big as you handle, right?
Mhm.
And because we're ADHD and we can see everything, doesn't mean we have to do everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, I got to do it all. Nah, I need you to do it. But I need your help. No, you said you want to do it, you want to do it, right? And so uh, that's how I want to end this. It's like sometimes, yes, you can have the mantras that are going to give you a perspective shift. Yes, you got to make those adjustments to be able to kind of like, I have to make those adjustments to kind of be okay with the new iteration or new vision of what I thought I was going to get versus what I'm going to get,
Yep.
right? And then the last thing is get the fuck out of my own way. And so, yes, I'm making all these decisions to bring people on, but it's me trying to get the hell out of my way. And so because I've seen things that I've let go of my business grow beyond my own capacity. And so trying to figure out, and entrepreneurs, in my experience, in the short time of my experience of being an entrepreneur, um, I'm trying to figure out what to let go and what needs my attention and what does not.
Yeah.
So, um, a lot of times, what you think might need your attention doesn't. So, that's my vent. That's my random thoughts.
Got it. That was a good one.
Appreciate you,
Yeah.
letting me do this one.
Yeah.
You were. It's not Hawaii, bro, but I get it.
No, we've said this before. We use this podcast as a therapy session.
Yes, we do.
And maybe the people listening in are the hidden therapists?
So
I don't
so
know,
yeah, so if you
whatever.
guys like, yeah, if they're like, I'm hoping we got entrepreneurs in our audience, right? And they can kind of sit there and talk about this. Hopefully, you could make a comment on one of our posts or something like that and let us know if there's something that you think we should be doing or I should be doing as a new entrepreneur.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate it.